Alright guys, here it is, September 27th. We're still working on food plots, believe it or not. We got most everything planted, but we're going back through and kind of rescuing some that didn't do well from the drought and whatnot. I want to give you guys some ideas, at least get everybody thinking about some of the different things you can do, different things you can plant. You know, it's getting late for brassicas, so you're probably going to go to a cereal grain, either oats, winter wheat, or rye. In this case, this is alfalfa and it's got some clover in it. But you can see these rows in here. What I did is I drilled rye into this. So this is going to take your alfalfa from an 8-month plot and get you all the way through to spring. When this, you know, alfalfa is going to be one of the first things to frost out. And when that frost out, your rye is going to take over. You could also drill this to wheat as well, but rye tends to germinate in a little colder temperatures. I think you can get down into the high soil temps into the high 30s and it'll still germinate. Another thing you can do is follow the combine after you harvest these beans. I'm going to go right behind him with the drill and just drill rye in. I haven't done that in the past for some reason, but you know, you guys that have a lot of ag, it's a great idea. You can put in a lot of acres that way. A lot of it went into CRP, so I'm down a few acres that way, but it'll still be a lot of food, you know. Plus you can do all this with your green sources, your alfalfa and your clover. So all right, let's go check out a couple more plots. Remember that last vlog I did, guys, with talking about the height of the scrape limbs? Here's a great example. All these are right here. Same oak tree on this edge. They could hit any of them. Look at these ones that are way low. These, no scrapes under them. You get to this one, it's a little taller. About chin high. There's a scrape. Come down here and look at this one. This one's getting annihilated. That one's about 6 feet in the air. It's getting used way heavier than the rest of these. Surprised, you know, there's one right here. As we get closer into late October, they may hit all these, so they start scraping at anything. But I just set that Cuddeback up when we were down here, so I'm going to check that card real quick. Had 100 pictures in 2 nights, so that's not too bad. I'll be interested to see what's on there. But the reason we came down here is I wanted to show you this plot. So this was planted to beans, and it's only about 2 acres. The deer kind of got after it, and it had some bare spots, and it was mowed down. So what I did is I took the four-wheeler and just broadcast brassicas through here. I just drove through this. I had it set on max spread, so you didn't have to drive through a lot of it and run it over. But you can see how it turned out. I mean, there's a lot of tonnage here. Brassicas filled in about everywhere there was a bare spot. So we got a perfect mix of standing beans and brassicas, purple top turnips, all the goodies, and we got a tree stand right here. So we'll probably hunt this early on. Be interested to see what's on that card. All right, guys, here's a little spot back in the middle of the farm, a little honey hole. This always has a lot of bucks back in here because there's cover all around it. I think I drilled this in late July, maybe early August. One of the reasons I do all broadleaf, like soybeans, winter peas, brassicas, you can come back and spray for grass if you have a weed problem. But in this case, I got a lot of broadleaf that came up in this. So your only option at that point, you can't spray it, but you could mow it. You could mow the tops of these. If you clip these, just don't mow it short. You clip the top of these will grow back, but we're so late into the game where I wouldn't want to mow it either. I'm just going to let it go, and this broadleaf should be about dead anyway. You can see it's all turning color. A lot of food in here. You've got to be one with the deer, guys. Either chew on a foxtail or grab a brassica, something. It happens. Every time I chew a brassica, a shooter shows up. Alright guys, here we are. We're up at Wyatt's tree. The infamous Wyatt's tree. You've probably seen me hunt here before. We're going to drill rye into this. Now, in a situation like this where you got a pretty good stand of clover or alfalfa, you almost have to drill it versus broadcasting it. Broadcasting is just not going to come up very well unless you have a lot of bare spots. There are a few here that would do okay, but overall, where this clover's thick, you're probably not going to get any rye or wheat to come up broadcasting it. So don't need to drill it, and that's what we're going to do. So let's give her a shot. Well, as you can see, we've got one of those scraping posts up here that we've got the experiment running. And so far I have checked this card, and the vine and the oak limb are tied dead even, and the cedar is just getting buried. I had 2 hits on the cedar, and I think it was like probably 20 some on the vine and the oak limb. So we'll see if that trend continues. I got a pretty cool picture of the one target buck light switch. Him and a big 4-year-old are at the straight tree at the same time, ready to do battle maybe. Fun to think about, but this would be a fun sit to sit right there in that Wyatt's tree. Now I'm only planting the west third of this because once this clover and alfalfa goes dormant from the frost, I want them to congregate down on this end by the tree stand for obvious reasons. A couple more passes and we'll have this, and then the combine just showed up, so then we're going to go follow the combine around and grill some more. So thanks again for joining us, guys. We'll see you on the next vlog.